What if I told you that clutter isn't failure, and instead you should be looking at it as data? Every pile, every drawer, every mess of things that you have anywhere in your house, every corner of clutter is sending you a message. And today we're playing detective, and I'm going to help you decode those. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. I want to talk about clutter today because clutter isn't random. It seems random. It seems like it piles up everywhere by itself. It seems like every time that we close the Tupperware drawer, it just multiplies, right? But that's not the way it works. It also isn't proof that you are lazy or messy or wrong or like doing life wrong. That's not what it is either. All clutter is information, data. That's what I want to talk to you today about. It is feedback. Every stack of papers, excessive books, everything that you overbuy tells a story about your life, tells a story about things you want to do, and about what's happening beneath the surface. And today, we're gonna look for those clues so that we can stop judging our clutter and instead see what exactly it's trying to tell us. And the first clue that we're going to be looking for are clues of aspiration. What are clues of aspiration? These are the things that you accumulate that are about the person you aspire to be, the person that you want to be, the habits you want to have or achieve. This can look like unopened exercise equipment or exercise equipment that's been gathering dust in a corner, right? Which really tells you that you aspire to be a stronger person and a healthier person, but maybe you just haven't made the time or space or prioritized it enough in your life yet. It can look like having, and I know I'm definitely guilty of this one, excess notebooks. You buy a lot more notebooks than you actually use, and there's a bunch of empty notebooks everywhere. And usually that's a sign that you are craving more creativity in your life, more creative outlets that maybe you're not making the time and space for. Piles of skincare. You're craving self-care. You aspire to be a person that takes better care of themselves. And that is the clues of aspiration that we can look for and see what our clutter is telling us about our aspirations and who we want to be. But not all of it is aspirations, of course. There's also things that reveal where our systems just aren't working, right? And these I call clues of friction. Clues of friction are the points in our lives where our energy and or capacity doesn't meet the current system that we have. So that pile of mail that keeps getting stacked up by the entryway means that either we don't have any sort of system for going through our mail, or it means that we don't have the energy for the system or capacity for the system that we have right now. A pile of laundry that is stacked up on a chair. Our system isn't working for us. And I know that sometimes that feels like laziness and we tend to shame ourselves for not getting those things done. But again, we want to get rid of that shame. What we want to see is where our systems aren't meeting us. What's creating the friction? There are certain moments in my life, for example, when I have the mental capacity to do tons of loads of laundry from start to finish, fold them and put them away. And there are other times in my life where laundry gets thrown on the couch and doesn't get folded and put away. It is what it is. My system isn't meeting my current capacity or my current energy. That doesn't mean I'm lazy. It means I'm tired or I'm drained or I'm burnt out. And that's okay. So we have clues of friction and clues of aspiration. But our clutter can also tell us things that we love and value and remind us of that. And I call those clues of spark. Like they create a little inner spark in you. So that might look like having a lot of mementos from your trips, which speaks about how much you value experiences. Or it might be having a lot of photos of family members, lying around your house, which means you value the relationships in your life. It means having tons of books because you value learning. And that type of clutter isn't clutter unless you define it that way. And what I mean by that is what can look like, a hoarder's amount of books to one person can be a minimalist library to another. And if you value books and you value learning, and so having stacks and stacks and stacks of books is important to you, that's good. If it brings you joy, that's good. It doesn't matter if to someone else that's too many books. That's their capacity and their spark speaking for them. Don't let someone else's opinion speak for your own spark. If you like collecting fridge magnets and somebody else is like, oh my gosh, you have so many magnets on your fridge, like what is that? But to you, they're reminders of those trips that you've taken that you've loved, then keep the fridge magnets. That doesn't qualify as clutter per se in my mind. It qualifies as things that bring you joy, and that's not bad, right? We also have clues of transition. And this is kind of the clutter that builds up when your life is shifting, when your life is changing, or when you're past a specific chapter in your life and you haven't fully committed to your new chapter. So this can look like having baby things and baby gear and baby clothes and toys around even after your kids are grown and way past those ages. And this is different from I'm keeping this stuff because we're thinking of having another child. I mean, like, all your kids are grown, you're not having any more children, and you still have the baby stuff around, and it doesn't bring you joy, it is just clutter, then this is a clue of transition. Or maybe you shifted careers or you started your own business, and so you don't use all the work clothes that you have still in your closet unworn. That is a clue of transition. And when I say that this could be partly you not fully embracing your new chapter, I mean this because a lot of times as humans, we will hold on to past chapters thinking that we can go back to them if this new one doesn't work out. Comes from a bit of limiting belief, a bit of fear. So like, I start a new business, but if it doesn't work out, I still have my work clothes and I can go find a job. If you graduated college or ended school, it might look like having all those school supplies around, excess school supplies and textbooks and things that you're not really gonna use again, but they're there, right? Your belongings are holding on to a past identity, but the thing about holding on to past identities is that they don't allow you to move forward. You're not making space for your new identity. But of course, not all clutter is about where you're going, if that makes sense. Some of it is about where you've been and who you've been. And I like to call this clues of echoes, as in like echoes of the past. This clutter feels more like an archive. This is different to clues of transition because clues of transition are transitional moments in your life, like getting a new job or your kids growing up, or maybe you used to have pets and now you don't. You graduated, you got married, like there's a million transitions in our lives, right? But these items are specifically echoes of someone you used to be, that used to be a big part of your identity that isn't anymore. Okay, so old hobby equipment, clothes from a style that you used to wear a lot that isn't your current style. This could be even journals that you used to fill with like dreams that you had that are no longer relevant. Now, this is different from the transitional stuff because the transitional stuff doesn't have as many memories attached to it. Like excess school supplies and textbooks usually don't have as much of an emotional attachment as getting rid of the instrument that you played for 12 years that you don't want to play again because it was a decade of your life, or even more. And so it is more about items that feel like if they ever made a museum of you, this item would be included because it was that pivotal to an identity moment of your past. But it isn't a part of your present, and it probably won't be a part of your future. And so again, it's holding you back from stepping into your new chapter the best way you can. And the last one I like to call clues of shadows. Clues of shadows are in the sense of like your shadow self, but what I really mean is your unconscious self or your subconscious, which means it's all about mindset, it's all about limiting beliefs, it's all about the stories that we tell ourselves that simply aren't true. These come from fear, guilt, shame, scarcity thinking, and it can look like having a bunch of extra chargers just in case your current charger gets lost. Like, don't get me wrong, I have an extra charger, but that's it. I have 2 chargers. I have the one I'm currently using, and I have 1 extra charger. I don't need 12 extra chargers. The possibility of 11 chargers breaking before I have a chance to buy a new one are slim to none. And so that just in case mindset of, oh, let me keep this just in case, is rooted in scarcity, which is a limiting belief in and of itself. This can also look like keeping expired food. This is a big one because food waste is a huge thing in general. And I think it's something that every human has been told about. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in a house where it was like, food, you do not throw away food. And I know a lot of us did grow up in households like that. And so when food expires, we feel really bad throwing it out because we feel like we should have consumed it. But keeping it around isn't going to make you consume it. Keeping it around is just going to remind you of the guilt you feel throwing it away every single time that you see it or come across it. So again, this is a mindset thing. This isn't a, oh, I'm keeping this thing because I should keep it. It's a mindset thing. And like that, there's a million different examples, right? I actually go a lot into the emotional side of clutter and the emotions that clutter can bring up in the video I did last week. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely go check that one out. But basically, these 6 clues that we can look for inside our clutter can guide us into what things we need to be doing and what things we should be getting rid of or shedding, right? So the aspirational clues can tell us things that we need to make more space for or more time for. The clues of friction, which is where our systems aren't meeting our capacity, tell us the things that we get to change, the systems that we can adapt to better meet our capacity right now so that we have more time for the aspirational ones. The clues of spark can bring us moments of joy and moments of peace in what could otherwise be a really stressful day. Looking at your clutter as data instead of looking at it as a way to shame yourself and tell yourself that you're lazy is actually a really interesting way to shift the way your mind thinks about the stuff around you. So what I want you to do, if you're up for it, is do a clutter autopsy. Pick a really, really, really small space, a shelf, a pile, a drawer. Don't pick a room, pick a really small space. And look at each object on that shelf or in that pile or on that room and ask yourself, what is this doing? What is the purpose of it? Is this aspirational? Is it causing friction? Is it a shadow? Is it an echo? Is it a transitional item? Is it a spark? And figure out, therefore, whether you should keep that item or not. And I say should in a like, you want to keep that item or not in a like, oh, you should keep it because so-and-so gave it to you. No, we're not doing that shaming game either. Do it with a shelf or a pile or a drawer, a really small thing, and see what comes up for you. I was really excited to make this video because I feel like most people talk about clutter as something that you need to get rid of and clean and organize and figure it out. And I don't think enough people realize how the objects in our lives speak to us and speak about the things that we want and speak about the things that we no longer want and how they keep us stuck in a specific place, right? I know a lot of people talk about decluttering as like making space for new things, and that is part of it. But I also know that a lot of us have clutter that already is those new things that we want to bring into our lives, but we just don't have enough space for it yet. So anyways, play detective this week, and if you're willing, leave in the comments below. Let me know if you did your clutter autopsy, or even just sitting around looking at the room. What are the clues that you see the most? Are they clues of aspiration, spark, shadows, echoes, transition, or friction? I know that for me, there's a lot of spark around me, but there's also a lot of friction right now because my normal systems don't meet my current burnout capacity. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I make new ones like this every single Friday. Until then, stay wild, stay weird, and I'll see you in the next one.